Hey, it's Gentle K, your tech guide. Today, let's talk about where your API key is actually supposed to live and why the browser can always see it. You get an AI to build you an app over a weekend, and you send the link to some friends. A few days later, a bill arrives from the AI company. 4 figures. Nobody hacked you. Your server was never touched. Someone just pressed F12. Here is the conclusion first. If your key is in the browser, anyone can pull it out. So the key has to live on your server and only there. Let me show you why it just shows up and where the key should actually be. But first, why does it just show up? Let me show you the one thing that reveals it. If your key is in the browser, one press of F12 is all it takes. Press F12 and the developer tools open, and there is a tab called Network. It shows every request your browser made, exactly as it went out. It is not a hacking tool, it ships with every browser. If your app calls the AI directly from the front end, the key is sitting right there in the request, in plain text. Copy it, and you are done. It was never hidden. It is built to be visible. That was the F12 case, but there is a quieter path too. Leave the key baked into your code and deploy it, or push it to a repository, and it walks out on its own without you doing anything. In 1 year alone, 1.27 million AI keys ended up in public code repositories. Browser or repository, a key in your code ends up in someone else's hands. So where should the key live? Let me draw it as one picture. An API key is the ID card the AI company uses to charge you. It is an ID and a payment method in one. So a leaked key is less like a leaked password and more like a copied credit card. Someone spends your money. This whole video is really one line. There are 3 players: the browser, your server, and the AI company's API, and in front of your server there is a boundary line. The only question is whether the key crosses that line. The version that works has 4 steps. The browser asks your server. Your server attaches the key and calls the AI. The AI sends the result back to your server, and your server passes it to the browser. The browser only gets the result. It never sees the key. That pattern, where your server makes the call for you, is a proxy. Call the AI straight from the front end, and that line breaks. The request is built on someone else's computer, so the key has to sit there. And code that gets delivered to a browser is not yours anymore. It is on someone else's machine, so they can open the code and they can open every request that code made. Hiding it harder does nothing. The answer is not to hide the key better. It is to never send it in the first place. There is one image that makes this click: a single card. An API key is a credit card with your name on it. Putting it in your front end is taping that card to your shop window with a note that says, "Please do not use this." You asked, you did not stop anyone. The version that works looks different. The card stays in a safe in the back room. A customer orders and a staff member pays with the card from the safe. The customer never sees it. The safe is your server, and that staff member is the proxy. One thing never changes. Whoever swipes it, the bill still comes to you. And here's the most important part. A front-end environment file is not a secret. Wait, the environment file first. I have explained this file to beginners so many times, and most of them have never heard of it. It is where you keep secret values, outside your code. The problem is location. An environment value in your front end gets baked right into the code at build time and shipped to the browser with everything else. You think you kept it separate, but it still goes to the browser. On your server, that same file really is a safe. It is inside the line, same file. Only the location is different. So, what do you actually do? Just 2 things. First, make the call on your server. That is it. There are 2 ways to call the AI. You use a toolkit the company built, or you write the request yourself. That toolkit is called an SDK. It is easy but ties you to one language, and writing it yourself is free of that but takes more work. Either way does not matter, as long as the call happens on the server, and you do not even need a real server. Put a small function, just a few lines, on the server, and the browser asks that instead. Second, if a key already leaked, do not start with the code. Kill the key first and issue a new one. A key that is already out there stays alive no matter how much you edit your code. And one more thing. Even with the key on your server, there is a list of files you leave out when you push to a repository. If your environment file is not on that list, it goes up with the key inside. Getting the location right and still leaking it this way is very common. Let me show you how this sounds on a real team. An online store wants AI to write their product descriptions.
I want to add auto-generated product descriptions. Do we need to build our own AI?
No, we ask an AI company and take the result. One rule, though. We cannot call it from the front end. It has to go through our server.
Does that make things a lot more complex?
It is one function. But if we skip it, our key sits in the browser, and other people spend on our bill. So it is not optional.
Got it. And if we had already shipped it that way?
Then we kill the key before touching code. It stays live out there until someone revokes it.
Once you get this far, a few questions always come up. 3 quick ones. What is the difference between an API key and an API secret? A key is closer to who you are. A secret is closer to the password that proves it. If a service hands you both, the secret must never go out to the user side. Same principle as today, just stricter. Is an access token different from an API key? The lifespan. A key is a fixed value that lives until you delete it. A token usually ships with a set lifetime and expires on its own. So when a token leaks, the clock can cut the damage. When a key leaks, nothing does until you do. Where do I get an API key? Make one in the console of the AI company you want. Most show it exactly once. That is your moment to put it straight onto the server. Let me fold today into 3 short lines. 1. A key that reached the browser was not hidden. It was published. 2. The key lives on your server and nowhere else. The browser holds no key. It asks your server. 3. A front-end environment file is not a secret. Same file and location is everything. And that's everything for today. I hope this one helped. If it did, I'll see you in the next one. That's it from Gentle K. Thanks for watching, and remember, just start. It's easier than you think.